Hello everybody and welcome back to the Up the Guts channel. A different sort of video here today. We are halfway through the season as we speak of the AFL season. So I thought I'd give my mid-season rankings for each club on a tier list. So I thought it's a perfect time to sit back and reflect on how it's always started, because you know some clubs start off slow but then come home in a hurry. But then other teams start off really good but then fall away late, or they just keep their form going the whole way through. So I'm going to rank every club, on a tier list. And the tier list rankings that I've got here follows as. At the top of the list is the Royce Club. So it's the club, they're just the premium clubs, the teams that are performing at their best level. Next one is like I've called it payday. There's no better feeling than when it is payday and your money starts coming in for the week after your hard-working week and you're being rewarded with a bit of money. So that's the feeling that these teams are giving. Next one is the 2 a.m. kebab. Now, just picture this. You've been on a night out. Let's say you're in Melbourne, so you've been out on Chapel Street. That's just for an example. Your night's winding up. It's 2 to 3. Getting close to 2 a.m. I might say a bit more, 3. But we've gone with 2 after some discussions with other people. We thought the 2 a.m. one was better. But you're struggling home. You start getting a bit peckish because the alcohol's starting to wear off and kick in. You're ready to call it a night. What's one of the best feelings? It's the kebab after the night out. So the 2 a.m. kebab is the teams that are not at the top level, but they're still going pretty darn well. Next one is not great, but there's something there. So there's teams that are probably at the bottom end of the ladder, but I can still see something that's building, and they can make this season still a positive. And the next one is what the hell is going on? Pretty self-explanatory, and there's a few clubs that I can put in there. So without further ado, we're going to do this alphabetical order. So without further ado, let's get started with the first club. Let's go. So the first club on the board here I've got is the Adelaide Crows. Now the Adelaide Crows currently sits third on the ladder on 32 points with a percentage of 139.3, and I've been really impressed by the way they're playing, although the knock is they haven't beaten anyone of a note as of yet. But the wins that they have got are really good. I think they're solid across all the board. They got the 3 tolls up there. Rochelle's in form now. Jordan Dawson's having an unbelievable season, leading a lot of the awards across the competition. Isaac Rankin, Jake Saligo, Josh Roldown back, someone I've been really impressed with, and Mark Keen's also having a really good season. And I just love the way they play. They play with speed and a bit of aggression. They're not quite Royce Club, but they are for sure in the payday section for me. So it's not quite Royce Club yet. Right now I'm recording. It's Friday the 6th of June, 4:30 p.m. And it's tonight they are up against their big challenge against the Brisbane Lions at the Adelaide Oval. Now, if they are to win this, I would come back and possibly put them in the Royce Club, because they have done what other people have knocked on them, and that is beat a convincing team, a team that is currently sitting second. So, but for now, the Adelaide Crows are in payday section for me. And what a perfect transition that is for the Brisbane Lions. So Brisbane Lions are currently sitting second on the ladder on 38 points. And I think they're just going, in my opinion. While they sit second on the ladder, they had periods where they dwell off. That draw with North Melbourne, I want to say, really shows what type of season they're having. I think they're dwelling off in periods, but then also when they flick a switch, we go, oh, that's the Brisbane Lions. We know they're one of the best teams in the competition. Hugh McCluggage is having an unbelievable season. I think they're playing as more an inside midfielder. Charlie Cameron lifted for 3 goals in 5 minutes just the other week. Other than that, having a pretty poor season. They are missing the like of Joe Danaher down there after his retirement. Eric Kipwood just isn't getting it done. But Cal Marchi is doing well in filling that spot. But this might be topical, but I'm going to put the Brisbane Lions, even though they're second on the ladder, in payday. Because they're still going really well. They're exciting. You'd be stupid not to have them in very late, going in, tipping them to be very late in September. But I don't think they're quite at the Royce Club yet of a performance. Some of their performances this season has been Royce Club, but not on a consistent basis. But that's just my personal opinion. Next up is the Carlton Football Club. As we go down here, Carlton currently sits 13th, just with the 4 wins on 16 points. They've been a really frustrating season for them. They should be better than what they are. with the list that they have, especially through that midfield. I think that Sam Walsh is one who's really, really struggling, just not having the impact on games that he would like. TDK is a real big tick for them. Charlie Kerner obviously coming back from injury, but probably hasn't still taken a while to really rip a game open. But I think this weekend against Essendon could be the type of game that Charlie Kerner rips the game open, kicks 5+ with the depleted key defenders that Essendon currently have available to play. But it's been an up and down season for Carlton, but I think Carlton definitely are a type of team that could get on a roll. But for now, I'm going to go not great, but there's something there, because I could still see them pushing for the 8 or at least just missing out as we get into the second half of the season. Now, the Collingwood Magpies currently sit on top of the ladder on 40 points, and when the Collingwood are playing and when they're at their best, I might be biased as a Collingwood supporter, but when they're at their best, I think they're the best. It's taken me a while to admit this, and that's just me being like that as a Collingwood supporter, but it's taken me a while when they're running the ball off half-back and really rebounding with speed and cleanliness. They are a Royce Club. They are the top of the league. I think the fact, the finding of Ned Long has been absolutely phenomenal. Played some unreal games after being picked up in the mid-season draft last season after spending some time at Hawthorn. Didn't play an AFL game there, was delisted. Like to him, still the old players, old timers. Still, Sidebottom's gone to another level, arguably having one of his career best seasons as a pure midfielder, not a wingman, not a halfback, as a pure centre bounce midfielder. Scott Pennebury still as clean as he could be. I thought there was times where he slowed down a little bit and was fumbling a little bit more, but he's just. There was some stages where you thought that, but no, did not. Nick Dacos is probably not having as great as a season as he's had, but he's still having an unbelievable season. I've been tagged every week. Sorry, Jamie Elliott is probably the informed forward in the competition at the moment. It's just amazing what he can do at his height. Currently sits, as we saw, second on the Coleman, I want to say. Yeah, so second on the Coleman on 33. And that's amazing. Just these last 4 to 5 weeks, he's been phenomenal. I think he's kicked 23 in 6 games. It's something ridiculous like that. So Collingwood, for me, probably no-brainer. They go straight in the Rolls-Royce Club. Now, Essendon one I'm really intrigued with. They currently sit 10th on the ladder on 24 points. And there's been periods where I've been really impressed with the way they're playing. Nick Martin, I think, has been excellent since moving to half forward, but now also, so he was at half back last season. They moved into half forward to be able to build that play forward to center of the ball. But now he's playing at centre bounce midfield role. And he's actually looking really good there too. Zach Merritt had an unbelievable start to the year. He's still having a really good year, but probably not as damaging as he was having now. Now they're realising they don't need to play him as a centre bounce midfield. They can fiddle around with him at a half forward and a half back when you've got the likes of Jai Caldwell and Sam Durham, players like that. But their key defensive stocks have gone down lately, so they might get caught out later in the season. They'll be hoping for Jordan Ridley to come back soon, but Jai Caldwell is one of the players I want to give a shout out to. He's having an unbelievable season. Nate Caddy's really showing some signs coming in his second season. So this might shock some people, but I'm going to put the Essendon Football Club in 2am kebab. It hasn't been like wow, but there's been some moments where I see some real good potential, and the future is bright for the Essendon Football Club. Really like the young season of Archie Perkins, Isaac Kako still holding his spot there. But yeah, I have them in the 2am kebab section at the moment. Now, next up I've got is the Western Bulldogs. They currently sit 9th on the ladder. They just went down to the Hawks last night as we record this. But I think they've been solid. They've been hit with injuries. Marcus Bontempelli had a delayed start to the year. Obviously, Sam Darcy going down. He was probably one of the more informed players in the comp. Him going down. They have been playing without Liam Jones. They've been playing without Chalor. The Jones is purely because they've dropped him, may I add. But yeah, they've had a few injuries, and I thought they've battled hard through. They found someone in Ed Richards. Ed Richards currently is the number one midfielder ranked in the competition. So he's had an unbelievable season. I thought when Marcus Bontempelli wasn't there, Tom Liberatore did an excellent job of standing up in his place is the word that I'm looking for, and started actually hitting the scoreboard, something we haven't normally seen from Tom Liberatore in the past as much. But I thought, especially against that, I went to the Collingwood and Western Bulldogs game live at Marvel Stadium. I want to say it was about round 3. I'm pretty sure Libert had 30, 35 and kicked 1 or 2. So he was phenomenal, and he got my vote for the game that day. So for the Western Bulldogs, I'm going to put them alongside Essendon in 2am Kebab. They had the potential. They had the potential to go into payday if they won against the Hawks last night, but they weren't able to get that done. So they just have to sit in 2am Kebab for me. Now, one of the few frustrating teams in the competition is the Fremantle Dockers. You just can't get a read on them. They've dropped games. They smashed games. They beat Gold Coast at home, who I know that was in the wet, but who saw that one coming? They thrash teams. They get thrashed. I just don't know what to say. Josh Tracy started off on fire. Now he's gone a bit quiet. Shea Bolton's really starting to find his feet, though, which is a real big key for the Dockers. Real big key for the Dock. He's starting to find his feet. Couple of 20-plus disposal games and 3 goals. 20 and 3 on the weekend. He was huge. Andrew Brayshaw's having a really good season. Caleb Sarong started off the year really well. Had a couple of quieter games, but then he's picked it back up as a centre clearance beast. Hayden Young, they wouldn't have wanted to miss him. I thought Jordan Clark has started to pick it up and actually using a bit more run and carry now, which I'm really liking the look of. Michael Frederick is having a really good season as a high half forward and really impacting the scoreboard. So while they've been frustrating, I think they can't go any higher than 2am Kebab, just purely for they've dropped games that they shouldn't, and they show us promises and they disappear. So I think Fremantle for now, for the mid-season rankings, have to be in 2am Kebab. Next up is Geelong Cats. Now, I've debated hard with this team. They currently sit 5th on the ladder on 32 points. Same amount of points as Adelaide and Gold Coast and Hawthorn. I fought hard. I really like Bailey Smith's probably one of the best players in the competition at the moment. I love Ollie Dempsey off a wing, the way he can push forward and impact the scoreboard. Mark Blitzars is really good with the roles he can play. Probably one you wouldn't expect of me to give some kudos to. Max Hone's been really good playing as a midfielder. Did fiddle around at a half-back. Brian Myers as a high half forward has been excellent. Jeremy Cameron has had some quiet games, but then when there's key moments and you think he's been quiet, he pops up and just kicks a couple like he did in the weekend. Four in the last quarter to finish with 5. So, but for, I really wanted to put him in Royce Club, but I think for now they have to go in payday. Might be harsh, but I'm going to put them in payday for now, but I expect to see them very late in September. Now, the Gold Coast Suns. Very interesting team. They're finally starting to put it all together now under Damien Harwick. I'm calling it now, this will be the first time they've played finals. They currently sit 4th on 32 points. Noah Anderson's having an exceptional year. Their recruit off the half-back line with John Noble and Daniel Rioli this year have been really good. I think John Noble, in my opinion, has arguably been in all-Australian form. Dan Rioli has done well, but Noble's the one who's really stood out. And they found one in Joel Jeffrey, putting him behind the ball as well. Sam Collins does what he does best as a lockdown defender. He's such a good key defender. Jared Witch just does what he does in there. Matt Rao, don't you just love the way Matt Rao plays? That role 1-2 punch of Rao and Anderson's phenomenal. Took Miller running through there. Bailey Humphrey starting to find some more consistent footy. There's just so much to like about the Gold Coast Suns, and that's why they're going in the Rolls-Royce Club for me. I'm all aboard the Sun train right now. They're really exciting to watch. They play with a bit of edge, and I just love the way that they play. I mentioned Freo being one of the more frustrating teams of the competition. Now, this team wouldn't be far behind it, and it's the GWS Giants. It was my pick for the flag in the preseason, and geez, they have been underwhelming for me after that prediction. They currently sit 7th on the ladder with 28 points. They beat Geelong at GMHBA Stadium, which is nearly the unthinkable, although they have got a good record against their other teams, struggled to beat Geelong there. But then they've dropped games that they shouldn't have dropped. They've dropped games that they shouldn't have lost. Like, if I just load up here, I can't off the top of my head. If I just load up here. Like, on the weekend, only managing to defeat Richmond by 3 points. I get it, the Callum Ward one, so I give them a bit of a mulligan there. But I mentioned earlier, losing to Freo by 34 points at their home ground. I get it was in the wet, but you shouldn't be dropping games. The way that they're rated and the way they play, they shouldn't be ever dropping games at home. Losing to Sydney in the derby was the big one, though. Where they really put a statement. Sydney are nowhere this season. They are nowhere, and you dropped the derby to them. That was really disappointing. So I think the Giants, this hurts to say, this really hurts, but I think they have to go 2 a.m. kebab. They can't go any higher than that, in my personal opinion. Now, the Hawks. I've been harsh on the Hawks. I pre-season predicted them not to make the 8. I think they will make the 8 now, purely because of their run home. But I think they've been good, but I think they've had patches where they've been off as well. Like, that's like with any teams. I think it's an easy fix, but the ones I have, like, I really like Weddle staying back at halfback, pouncing off the ball. He reminds me of a quicker Blakey. Josh Ward, I've liked him coming in and really in and under. I think he played well in there. John Newcomb's been solid in the absence of Will Day in more of a leadership role. Marvin Chol, especially this past month, has been excellent for them. Gunston has wind back the clock, and although he's been quiet the last couple of weeks, prior to that was like their number 1 forward. Jack Ginnivan these last few weeks, ever since being dropped to the VFL, has come back and been phenomenal. 31-3 against the Pies last week, and then this week just gone 23-2. He's been phenomenal. Nick Watson has been really good too. There's a lot to like about the Hawks, but last night I would have had him here. After that, I have him here. They have to be in payday. They're not quite Royce Club, but they are in payday for me. Next up is the Melbourne Football Club. They currently sit 12th on the ladder, and they are on 20 points. Now, they had a little bit of a surge. They started off the season really rocky with all the Christian Petrarca, Clayton Oliver situation, the Luke Jackson saga now. But then they won a couple of games in a row, but then they had that big loss to St Kilda that they should never have lost. So for me, Melbourne have to go in not great, but there's something there because we saw it with their kids, Xavier Lindsay. I'm really excited about Harvey Langford. Jake Bowie's having a career best year. Just his short career, but he's been excellent. I'd love to know what's going on with Jake and Van Rooyen. They're just choosing not to play him. I know he's been out of form, but I'd love to see him give another chance just to give a target down there. Christian Petrarca's back to some of his best form for them as well. Clayton Oliver is back to the Clayton Oliver we know. Not quite 100% of that level, but he's at least the 90% of that player that he is now, and showing that he can actually play run with roles right now. But for now, I have to put them in not great, but there's something there. Next up's the North Melbourne Kangaroos, and they are 17th from the ladder. We're currently on 10 points after that draw with Brisbane. And I'm actually liking the way before the suspension, they had probably the informed small forward in the competition in Paul Curtis. I'm liking Charlie Comben down back. He makes a few mistakes there, but he's building and just really building. I thought Luke Parker's been really good for them. He impacts the scoreboard, but he's in and under as well. Tristan Cherry, you can't go past him. He's probably he's the top 2 ruck in the competition. Him and Gawn are the 2 best rucks in the comp at the moment. I think Cam Zurhaar's had a really good season too. A lot of questions about him when he was going to sign, but now he's signed, and I think he's had an exceptional year, averaging just under 2 goals a game. He's always seen as someone who can run through the midfield, but I think he's more of a high-impact player that stays forward and impacts like that, as like a third tall. So at the moment, I'm going to put the Kangaroos in not great, but there's something there because I do see some building. Next up is the Port Adelaide Football Club. Now, in my pre-season prediction, I had them in, it was either 12th or 13th. I got flamed. I got ripped to shreds for that prediction. Now I go over and have a look at the ladder now. They're 16th. Mic drop. They're 16th. And they are the first team in the what the hell is going on. What? They were in finals last year. I believe they were, if I filter, I want to say they were a top 4 team last year. Yeah, they were second on the ladder last year. I thought so. Second on the, I'm just going to change this ladder back. Sorry, hang on, change it back to now. Second on the ladder last year at the end of the home and away season, and now they're 15th from the ladder. Obviously, it's Ken Hinkley's last year. We know that. Josh Carr is coming in. But when that happens, you'd like your coach to go out with a bang. They're going out with a bang, but in the wrong way. A bang to the head, because I don't know what is going on down there. Connor Rosie's moved to halfback. Zach Butters is doing the best he can. Jason Horne-Francis, I thought, was good, but I honestly don't know what's going on with them. They're struggling up forward. Ollie Lord looks something. Mitch Georgiades, shouldn't have to be the number one key forward. His body's just not built for that. He'd be a solid second or third. He's having a decent season, but Port Adelaide are in real trouble for their future, I think. Next up is the Tigers, who currently sit 16 from the ladder. And Tigers. Round of applause to the Tigers, because I myself, and I thought they might win one, but other people thought they might win one or maybe win no games. Well, they knocked that on their head after the first game of the season against Carlton. They won their first, and since then, they've won another 2. So they've won 3 and currently sit 16th, and their kids are all right. I'm really liking it. Hugo Ralston off a wing, especially these last few weeks, has really impressed me. And their kid forwards, I really like Steely Green, Seth Campbell, Jonty Fall. And let's not forget how good their midfield is when they all play together. Dion Presser, Jacob Hopper, Tim Taranto. That's enormous. Then Big Nank throwing his weight around in the ruck. So for me, they're going to go in not great, but there's something there. All right, next up we have is the St Kilda Football Club. And the Saints have been another one that's up and down. They are currently 11 from the ladder with 20 points. They had that big win up against Geelong in Marvel, and then the big win on the weekend against Melbourne in Alice Springs. They've been up and down. I think they've been games where they look like a top 8 side, and they've been games where they look like a bottom 4 side. That's the story of St Kilda, and it's so disappointing to say. I think their best player at the moment is Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira, and I don't think he'll be at the club next year, which is really hard to say. Really hard to see, because it's almost like they've built their team around him, at least their back line. But because there has been times where they've looked like that top 8 side, as I said, I think they're going to go in 2 a.m. kebab. Not quite, not great, but there's something there, because they sit 11 from the ladder and they've beaten Geelong and Melbourne, and there has been times where they've looked exciting, but then they go back to that Ross defensive game, which is really, really hard to watch. Next up is the Sydney Swans. Now they sit 14 from the ladder, just 1 spot ahead of Port Adelaide. They were in the grand final last year. Yes, they got a big thumping. Yes, John Longmire left during the preseason. I've dwelled about the Sydney Swans so much on the podcast. But they're the second team going to go in what the hell is going on, because what the hell do we call this? You were in the grand final last year. The Bloods team that we know is a team that is full of contested ball, and they wouldn't go down without a fight. That's the opposite to what they are this year. I get it, Errol Goulden's not there, but it's past Errol Goulden now. Isaac Heaney took a while to get going. It's only so much Heaney and Warner can do. The rest need to pull their finger out. They've got no forwards down there in McDonald and Amadi, but even when Amadi was playing, I don't know what much else to say about Sydney anymore. It's like their heart's not there. Maybe this grand final loss is having as big of an impact as we thought, because right now that they're playing, I don't even know how to explain it. They're playing shocking, but they're going in what the hell is going on. Last but not least, on the mid-season rankings, we finished off with the West Coast Eagles. Now, the West Coast Eagles, although they sit at the bottom of the ladder right now, I'm liking the way they're playing. I've liked how I don't know why they moved him back to a wing, but I liked Ryan Marrich's move to halfback. He was really good, but they've moved him to a wing now, which is really interesting. I think Harley Reid, I was and many other people were really harsh on Harley at the start, but I think he's really started to put together a really good season, having some more impact as a centre bounce. He had a couple of weeks back at halfback to try and find some more footy. Then he's gone in there, and he's what's the best thing about Harley is he impacts the scoreboard. I like Elijah Hewitt down there. Jua, I think he's the way you say it. I really like Jua. I think he's playing a bit more halfback now, but I like him at half forward as well. Mentioned Elijah Hewitt. Ruben Jimby did a really good job on Jeremy Cameron last week. Was in the coaches' votes. It wasn't until the last quarter when Cameron kicked 4 in the last quarter. There's not much Jimby could have done that coming up against a class player. But I think the West Coast Eagles go in not great, but there's something there because they're still building. I think Andrew McQualter hasn't been terrible in his first season, as hasn't Adam Uze either. Well, there you have it, guys. There are my AFL 2025 mid-season rankings as we stand. Let's quickly go over them. So, Royce Club, I have got Collingwood and the Gold Coast Suns. Payday, I have got Adelaide Crows, Brisbane Lions, Geelong, Hawthorn. 2 a.m. Kebab, I've got Essendon, Western Bulldogs, Fremantle, GWS, and St Kilda. In not great, but there's something there. Carlton, North Melbourne, Richmond, and West Coast. And in what the hell is going on is Port Adelaide and the Sydney Swans. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video or have a different opinion or agree, leave it down in the comments and I'll get back to you. Make sure to leave a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button as we race towards 200 subscribers. Turn on the notification bell so you're notified whenever we upload. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I'll see you guys then.